The future is today. The future is happening right now. And for lots of years, thousands of years, millions of years before today, we have discovered, using a lot of knowledge, a lot of technology, a lot of proof like carbon dating and everything, to find out facts about how life and civilization has been on our planet. And to our civilization, the future that we have always written about, the future that our history has written about, is happening right now. We can pretend to be blind, we can pretend not to feel the difference that this is bringing directly onto our lives. But worldwide, talk of Miami, talk of Japan, talk of Uganda, talk of every country worldwide, talk of the poles, the North and the South Pole, we are experiencing a lot of changes. And these changes are directly our responsibility. I'll break down climate change for you. For a very long period of time, climate has changed, and that's why it's called climate. It will never be the same. But today, climate is at the top of this change, and this change is not healthy for our planet. It's not good for any of us. 2016, we had the highest recordings ever of that was the 2016 survey from NASA and other climate organizations, and they were giving us details that the highest temperature rises have been in the recent years. The highest rates of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere are taking place in these very, very recent years. And then each and every one of us, wherever we are, around the entire globe, everyone is experiencing this kind of climate-related thing. You don't have to walk up to the North Pole, you don't have to travel far to the South Pole so that you can have this glimpse of the ice and get to the coasts to have the sea level rises, all of them proven by your eyes. Look around you, and trust me, if you are a mature person who can compare things in life, you will directly have a relationship to your community or the communities where you've spent a lot of your time, and you'll discover that there is something definitely going on. And as the highest level of consciousness on our planet, we are in that position of responsibility. We could lose the entire planet. It has happened before. We have had 6 civilizations. Actually, we have had 5 civilizations before, and this could be the 6th civilization. But where have these other civilizations gone? It is possible for a whole civilization to be wiped out completely. That's why we look back and we see all these peaks in civilizations, and then we get back to zero. That is not linear. It is a very wrong mentality for us to think that the human being has been very primitive, or our previous day has been the worst and we are moving towards a better day. We have had changes, like in cycles. It's not linear. So we are at the verge of using our responsibility the right way, or losing everything that we have right now, which is the planet, which is the life that we have, which is the nature that we share, which is the economy that we live in, and everything. So I'll talk to you about the new economy and how much we have a very, very deep revolution that has already started. It must have started in the 70s with the introduction of the internet. After the second industrial revolution, I mean, look at our classrooms. I'll start off the whole entire economic story from the life we all live today in our society. Our classroom is a fixed kind of perimeter where you walk into, and it already has a system that is guiding the entire study. Step into class the first day, there is a teacher in front of you. That means that is a figure that must teach to you. Information is coming in a linear way from the teacher delivering to you, and you are in class to learn. There is an acceptable level of interactability. You have to question and sometimes have yourself express yourself in class, but the original order is that information is coming from hierarchy. It's like a pyramid sort of thing. Information is coming from somewhere, and this information is broken down into the pieces of information that you can receive at different levels. And this is the traditional kind of classroom, which is actually widespread all over the world. We still have this kind of education, and the community is actually so much trusting these kinds of systems because they have produced an entire century of successful people, an entire century of a civilization that we are living in. That is a transformation in the educational sector, which is directly connected to the economic sector, just like all these sectors are interconnected to a certain degree. When you get to the economics, you will discover that the times of Adam Smith was saying, hey, you have to get everything that you need to be the best that you can be. And that has become the economics of the entire world for almost a century. Into the Industrial Revolution, you had to make sure you have a lot in terms of capacity to produce, so that as you sell, you're gaining more profits on your own. More profits on your own. Everything is coming back to you. Everything was about, how do I use the small resources that I have to make sure I have the biggest income coming in from the best output maybe that I can put out in a competitive market and have this kind of income coming in. And we looked at power and freedom at very different angles. For example, in such a setting, power would be, I have everything that I need. I am independent. I can decide to do everything that I want. I feel powerful. Free would be, I have almost everything I want on my own. I am free to move here. I am recognized. I can get anywhere I want. That was freedom. Today, look at how our power is getting distributed. Distributed so that each and every single individual, each and every single plant can contribute to a big grid of power, but we all feel we are powerful in our way. Still at the same kind of level. Go back to the classroom. Today, I go to the internet when there is something that has pushed me there. I need to learn something. So when I get to the internet, I am not looking at some specific figure that is placed in front of me to give me this information. What I'm looking for is the information. So when I get this information, I am able to learn. I am able to use this information. And then I am obliged to share. It is actually supposed to be my responsibility in a later day to share and teach, because I was also learning from some source that I do not even understand the purpose as to why this source was putting out this information. But this information was right. I used the information the right way, and I got the results from that information. So I don't know what the model of the classroom is going to look like some 10 decades from now, but it is surely changing, and it must change to adapt the kind of new revolution, the new kind of era where we have interactability and we have people appreciating that we are all different, but we are all interconnected in a way, and it is our responsibility to act together. And that is when we have the power, when each and every one of us has power. A short while back, we were talking about how our communities are being fed, and in a way of actually developing our communities, especially in the developing countries worldwide. Actually, developing countries worldwide have a very big advantage that so many might be blind to. A lot of the investment in the third world, what we call the developing countries, is being directed towards infrastructure and development. And development is still being looked at in the very, very exact way development was looked at 100 years back, 200 years back, in the years of the Industrial Revolution. People want to have roads and have a lot of people traveling from different places to these places. Everything gets revolutionized at a time. So, as the developing countries are looking at the developed countries and saying, wow, they have a very good network of roads and this has heavily contributed to their kind of development. But the roads that have kept up the developed countries have already become a problem in a way to the revolution that is kicking in. Look at the Internet of Things, a new era where everything communicates with every other thing, and we become a portal to a connectivity that is universal. It is calling for new roads, it is calling for new infrastructure, it is calling for a new mindset, and it is creating, mark that, it is creating a new kind of human being. Evolution. Look at the millennium. The millennium right now is not so much about I must have the power to have each and everything. I'll give you an example of the kind of technologies that are now becoming technologies that are going to stay and walk us into the future, because they have shown us the capability and potential to serve the human race better than any other kinds of competing technologies. Have you looked at applications whereby you are sharing almost everything? Applications want us to share vehicles. I don't have to own a vehicle, because first of all, vehicles are emitting a lot of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. The vehicles are damaging our atmosphere. I don't have to share a vehicle no more. I just have to log in on this application and book the nearest vehicle to me. And once I am where I wanted to get to, someone else can use this vehicle. This is the new kind of world that is coming up. A world that is valuing sharing. A world that is getting to another level of consciousness. A world that is going to feel compassionate. Look at how many fundraisers are going on online almost in every community. There is a disaster that has befallen this kind of area, and people are rushing to help, irrespective of what kind of criteria is there to be giving the support. People are showing this positive heart of, these are people like us. This is disaster to them. We have to stand with them. We have to do this kind of thing and stand with them. We have big challenges coming with this kind of setting, because the new era is going to need new infrastructure. It's going to need new consciousness. It is going to evolve into new platforms and new ideals for almost each and everything around us. And we have the global pillars of life almost everywhere. Life is compassionate. Life wants to create more life. We call this love and positivity in our hometown network. Love and positivity drive a lot of good and drive communities to get together and realize that we are a collective responsibility to our own nature, to our own planet. We are serving nature so that in turn nature serves us. It looks after us. Amidst all the big shockers of the century, big ideas, we have lots of great projects. Like, it is very possible with laser that we might have to travel to Mars, which is a planet, the red planet just nearest to us, in 3 days. Using laser projections, we could get there and back, and this is bound to change a lot of things about how we know life today. Fine, these are dreams that drive us. These are dreams that drive a whole humanity, full of ideas and full of natural norms, full of culture, full of different experiences every day. But when we look around us, how do we balance the kind of dream chasing that we have on our continents, that we have on our planets? For example, the second industrial revolution saw us get into mechanization, heavy mechanization, and usage of fossil fuel. We have poisoned our water, all in the name of creating new things that help us to have a better life. We have poisoned our air, all in the name of creating a better world for ourselves. We have put a lot of new structures, cities and concrete everywhere, and all these are key. I'll tell you, amongst the first three things that I really putting up there, the